Students, today we are going to start element, compound and mixture. This is your third lecture for your class. Now, in the last classes we have discussed compounds and mixture, and also we have discussed how to separate sulfur powder and iron filling by magnetic process. But in this lecture we will discuss few methods which are used to separate the constituent particles and substances from their mixture. Let's see. Already we have discussed matter, classification of matter, pure substances and impure substances. Impure substances means mixture. Now, separation of substances. I am going to show some processes. Just see. You can see in this picture, this is a filtration of tea. In another picture, you can see this is known as winnowing process. In this process, heavy particles are separated out from lighter particles with the help of wind. You can see that a woman is standing on the table, and just with the help of wind she is trying to separate grain from chaff, and this process is called winnowing. Now another process is that hand picking. It is a very common method to separate undesirable substances like pebbles, stone from the desirable substances. You can see that a woman is sitting there and she is putting out stone from the mixtures of pulses and rice. I think your mother is also doing same process at your homes. Now the fourth process is that churning of milk. You have seen in a serial Krishna. The churning of milk is used to separate milk and cream. It is a very old process to obtaining cream and butter from the mixture of milk. So now, my dear students, in this process we used to separate desirable substances or undesirable substances from their mixture. Now you can see that I am going to show you some process and the purpose. Process and purpose. Purpose for which we do separate stone from rice. So already we have understood what is desirable substances and what is undesirable substances. To remove unwanted material, yes. In next one is that churning of milk to obtain two useful substances. Yes, cream and milk both are very useful substances for us. Filtration of tea to remove tea leaf. Tea leaf, it cannot be used for our daily life and it is an undesirable substances. Therefore, tea leaf is a unwanted. So we need to separate tea leaf from the tea by the process of filtration. And mostly in your homes, these processes are used to separate undesirable substances or useful substances from the this process. Method of separation. First, what is a filtration? Filtration is a process used to separate solid from liquid or gases using a filter paper. Yes, my dear students, in this process we generally use filter paper. I think you have seen a filter paper. It is a very thin paper which have very minute pores over it that do not allow to pass solid substances through it. So you can see that filtration is a process used to separate solid from liquid or gases using filter medium that allow the fluid means liquid to passes through but do not allow to pass solid, but not the solid. Means suppose you are filtering tea, so we used to separate tea, you are using sieve and some filter substances which allow to pass only liquid, not the tea leaf. What is a filtrate? Filtrate is a liquid that can pass through a filter. Yes, after filtering the tea is filtrate and tea leaf, that is unwanted substances, that is called residue. What is a residue? On the other hand, it is the solid mass we get on the filter paper after filtering of a suspension. Yes, the solid substance which cannot be passed through the filter paper, that is called residue, and after filtration we get liquid substance in a saucer, in a cup and in a glass, that is called filtrate. You can see a picture here. I will try to show you what is filtrate, what is the residue, and how you will separate two substances with the help of filtration process. It is very clear from the pictures. Now, hand picking. The method in which substances in a mixture can be separated by just picking them out with the help of hand from the mixture is known as a hand picking. Yes, this is a process which are done by your hand. And when it is possible, when mixtures have different size particles, if they have different color, then it is possible to separate by hand picking. Suppose I'll give you a mixture of 2 and 3 kind of rice. you will be not able to separate because they have same color and same size. But I'll give you the mixture of pulses and rice. That time you can separate them with the help of hand picking because both have different color and different size. So you can see a lady, she is using this process to separate pebbles and undesirable substances from desirable substance. Winnowing, already we have discussed. Now let's see what is the winnowing. Winnowing is a process of separation of heavier component from lighter component of mixture by wind or by blowing air. Yes, with the help of air, not the air. Blowing air is called moving air is called wind. With the help of wind, we used to separate lighter particles from heavier particles. That is called winnowing, and this process is done in village to separate chaff from the grains, either wheat or paddy. You can see this process in this picture. It is very clear. Now I am going to show. Suppose I'll give you the mixture of 2 and 3 substances. Suppose in your book it is given mixture of salt, sand and sulfur, or the mixture of iron filling, sulfur and sand. How will you separate? Let's see in video.
Iron fillings, water, common salt, a funnel, a conical flask, a beaker, a wire gauze, a filter paper, a tripod stand, a china dish, and a Bunsen burner. Procedure: take a beaker and mix some sand, salt, and iron fillings in it. Before preparing the mixture, weigh each of the 3 solids separately and record the weights for further observation. Hover a bar magnet across the surface of the mixture to separate iron from the mixture. The iron fillings get attracted to the magnet, while sand and salt are left behind. Now add about 100 milliliter of water into the mixture. Stir the mixture but thoroughly. Filter the mixture into a conical flask using a filter paper. Sand particles, being insoluble and bigger in size, remain on the filter paper. Now transfer the liquid into the china dish and place it on the tripod stand. Light the burner under the stand. Heat the solution until the water evaporates completely. Allow the residue salt to cool down for some time. Collect the salt from the china dish. Weigh all the 3 solids again and record your.
So my dear students, in this video you have seen there were 3 processes. First one, magnetic separation, which is used to separate iron filling from the mixture, then by filtration after dissolving in water to remove residue, and when we get the filtrate the solution on evaporation, what is separate out? Water and salt. Means there were three processes: magnetic separation, filtration, and last one was evaporation. So it was a very clear to understand how to separate when mixture containing more than two substances.
Add our
Now purification of water. So I think in Bihar it is very easy to get water because we have our hand pump in our houses. So we are getting very easily water, but in the metropolitan city like Delhi, Mumbai, they do not have their own hand pumps. They are using water from government sector, and you know that the government depends on what kind of water? Rain water. And you know that when during the raining, when water logging is there around your locality, you can see that how much dirty, how much rotten leaf bodies, rat are there in that water, and that water is used to do lots of work, and that water is used for daily uses, for daily purpose. But before using that water, it is used for purification in water purification tank and in water purification plants. So how it is get done, you can see in this picture. You can see that water is coming out from the pond, river, where water logging is there, and this water is passed through many chambers. You can see that there are lots of chambers are there, and after the passing these chamber, finally we got pure water. In last part you can see a water tank is there, where we get the pure water we can drink. So you can see very clear how a difficult process is there to separate impurities, germs, bacteria from the water before making it potable water. So what is the process, and what are the process which are used to separate impurities from the water are: first, sedimentation. Water is collected in tank and allowed to stand for some time so that suspended impurity settle down. Yes, you know that sedimentation already we have discussed, and in this process water is collected in tank and allowed to stand for some time, that suspended particle get settled down at the bottom. After sedimentation, loading. You know loading. In this process we are using alum fitkiri that is used, and you know that when we add the alum in water, it make the dirt particle heavy, and in this process alum and lime is added into water, which increase the rate of sedimentation. When that particle get heavy, it goes down at the bottom of the container, means when it goes down at the bottom container, that is called sedimentation, means which increase the rate of sedimentation. The first process is the sedimentation and second process is the loading. Third process is the filtration, and already we have done. But in this process we cannot use filter paper. In this process we are using sand bed, gravel's bed and charcoal. I think you are using Purit water filter, Purit, at your homes. You can see that there is a one charcoal filter is there, because charcoal is a very good antiseptic substance because it kills germs. So in this process, sedimentation, filtration is passed through the bed of sand, charcoal and gravels, and sand is a natural filter which filters the water. And after getting pure water, but it is not pure, it is after the filtration, it maybe it is a transparent, but it contain lots of germs. So after that we used to add many chemicals. Generally we used to add chlorine and bleaching powder to kill the germs and bacteria. And after that, this is a very new method, ozonation. Ozonation is a very new process. In this modern method, ultraviolet rays are passed through the water to kill germs and bacteria. This is a very new method. In this method, ultraviolet rays is passed through the water which kill the germs. I think nowadays AquaGuard purifier is there in market which give ultraviolet rays in water and which kill the germs. So my dear students, it is a very good process, and these are the process which are used to clean, which are used to purify the water. So we are able to use contaminated water as a potable water. But contaminated water means dirty water can be used for drinking after these process. So today is the last class. Thank you and have a nice day, my dear students.